Welcome back again. This is Ben with Swift English. So now we're going to take a look at TOEFL Speaking Task 1 Independent again, but this time analyzing what you should do if you instead choose to provide one reason and one example for your response. Okay, so let's take a look. All right, so if you do decide to carry out a one reason, one example attack approach, this is how you're going to set up your notes. You're going to state your opinion, again, a word or a short phrase, right? Same thing with your reason. This is going to be your only reason in this kind of scenario. And then you're going to mention your example with the additional details right next to it, as many as you can in that short period of time, which is 15 seconds. So your template, the kind of phrases, guys, you're going to be memorizing are these. So this is just my recommendation. It could be done many different ways as well. So you're going to memorize the word although some individuals may. You're going to state how the opposite side feels about the issue. And then you're going to mention how you feel about it, which is going to be the exact opposite opinion. This is mainly because, so you're going to use this phrase, it's a reason phrase to introduce your only reason here. Then you're going to use like to introduce that specific example, okay? You're going to explain it using additional details until you're done. Maybe for your very last detail, if you want to do something more tricky, more advanced, you could have like an if sentence at the end of it. That's great for grammatical complexity. All right, and you know, if there's a few seconds left, you could add that default conclusion that I showed you in the last lesson. So that's my view. Okay, so let's take a look at 3 sample questions here, one of each. But of course, you're gonna just get one of these questions during the exam. So do you agree, this is an agree-disagree question clearly, do you agree that being independent is more important than relying on others? Use specific details and examples in your response. So for this one, I just wanted to do a disagree to show you it is possible. You don't have to agree with everything they ask you. So I disagreed this time, I put D, it's just faster to write. And then on my piece of paper or whiteboard, depending on the version of the exam you're taking, I wrote emergency here. So this is my only reason. And now I'm going to kind of do my best to write out these short words and phrases that are going to be related to my details, okay, for my example. The kitchen, onions, knife, cut, blood, friend, hospital. If this didn't happen, something else would happen. So these words, these key words are going to help you remember the sentences you want to explain in your response. Although some individuals may agree that being independent is more significant than depending on others, so here you could see that I'm mentioning what the opposite opinion is, the side that I don't agree with. I totally disagree with them. Sorry, disagree, not agree. This is mainly because, so now here I go into my reason for that. This is mainly because there are situations and moments in life where we need help or support from others, okay? Especially when an emergency happens. So I was able to come up with this sentence thanks to the word emergency. It's gonna help me, you know, formulate this kind of sentence. All right, now the EX is gonna help you, you know, come up with your example. Like a few years ago, I was cutting onions in the kitchen when all of a sudden I accidentally cut myself with a knife. Okay, there you go. So introduce that situation, introduce that example, and then think about developing it. It was really terrible. So one way you could develop your example is by adding reactions, okay? These little emotional reactions are a great way to sneak in a detail, sometimes even 2. I was bleeding very badly, so there's another reaction. So I asked my friend Sarah to drive me to the local hospital to get stitches on my left hand. You know, be specific, be detailed, guys. Use adjectives, they're excellent, or even adverbs for your verbs. However, if I just wanted it to remain independent, so here you could see I have an if sentence. I'm thinking about what would happen if I choose to remain independent and, you know, not want to depend on others, not want to rely on them. Then, so this is the consequence. which is part of the second clause here, I wouldn't have been able to receive emergency support from my dear friend during that crisis. So emergency crisis, I'm paraphrasing a little bit to, show off my topic vocabulary. So that's my view. If I have time, I'll just, spit that conclusion at the end. All right. But say you didn't get a agree-disagree question for task 1. Maybe instead you received a paired choice, which is also super common. Your university is planning to invite some guest speakers to lecture students. Some students think the university should not invite guest speakers with controversial opinions. So that's one choice A or choice 1. Other students believe the university should ask various guest speakers to speak, regardless of their beliefs. So it doesn't matter what their beliefs are. This is their right. They should speak about whatever controversial topic they want to speak about. Maybe it's the legalization of marijuana, legalization of abortion, or some other issue. There are millions of them, like should guns be legal or should they not, right? Which point of view do you support? Explain why. Okay, so here I said, yeah, they should invite a variety of guest speakers. So I was supporting basically the second opinion, or opinion B, that they had right here. So I just write this in a short way. And then here I'm gonna write my reason for it. Well, I believe in the freedom of speech. I do believe it has benefits. Now here I'm going to have my story and just the extra details that go along with it. So for my story, I want to talk about alternative medicine. So I'm going to mention something about a guest speaker related to this topic or subject. And I'm going to specifically, talk about green tea, but you could talk about other things, guys. So, you could talk about abortion, substances like marijuana or mushrooms that some countries, some places in the world want to legalize or want to ban, or other stuff, whatever you're familiar with. Bone health, if the university does invite them, what happens, right? Okay, so let's take a look at this. Although some college students may feel that the university shouldn't invite guest speakers with controversial opinions to speak on campus, so this although is kind of like while. You could use while too if you like. I'm using this one. So when you say this, it's kind of like saying it is true that some college students may feel that blah, 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 but then you kind of imagine there's like a but there, the counter argument. I definitely think that the university should invite them. So that's kind of like the logic here. This is just giving you guys an easy opportunity to come up with a quick complex sentence from the get-go. You don't have to do it this way. You could always say, well, I definitely think that da-da-da. But by having this complex sentence, it's boosting that grammar criteria of your score. Okay. Now, the reason sentence, I usually start it with this kind of phrase. This is mainly because we can learn new information from allowing others to have freedom of speech. Well, there you go. I explicitly mentioned what my reason is right there. Now, right after, I want to, introduce my example and then really elaborate, expand on it. Like when I was a psychology student back in university, our university president decided to invite a functional medicine doctor to speak on campus. And guys, if you have 2 adjectives, 3 adjectives before a noun, always stress that first adjective, okay? At the time, try to use time phrases if you can. It'll make it easier to explain your details. At the time, some students at my college called her a quack simply because they didn't agree with her that drinking green tea daily has powerful health benefits. After hearing her speech, so here I have another time phrase. It just helps me develop it. I did my own research and discovered that consuming green tea, so instead of saying drinking again, I decided to use consuming. If I didn't know that, just repeat drinking again, guys. It's not the end of the world. Can actually support bone health just as the lady speaker had suggested. So functional medicine doctor, lady speaker. So the more you paraphrase, it's excellent for your vocabulary criteria. However, if the university had refused to invite them, I wouldn't have been aware of the serious health advantages of green tea. So that's my view. And there you go. So that was an example of one reason, one example approach for a choice question, paired choice. Let's take a look at one last example here. This time involving a good idea task 1 question. So is it a good idea for restaurants to provide nutritional information about the foods they're serving? Okay, so I said, yeah, it's a good idea. Why not? I mentioned that for health reasons. And again, you would write out your examples the best that you can. Okay, so although some individuals believe that it's a bad idea for restaurants to mention nutritional facts about the foods they're serving, I think it's a fantastic idea. Now, I didn't want to say good idea. You could. There's nothing wrong with it. You could still get a high score. But I wanted to show off. So by using a slightly stronger word, so instead of good, I could maybe use fantastic, amazing, brilliant, wonderful. You get the picture. This is mainly because it will help customers have better awareness of how the ingredients can affect their body. So there you go. This was my reason, okay? Like a month ago, I went to a local Italian restaurant with my wife, Anna. Okay, so here I'm introducing my example. I haven't gone into all the details yet because I need more sentences for that, but you want to think about maybe using a time phrase to introduce, to set the setting, right? And yeah, think about the places, right? All right, and characters involved there. When we took a look at the menu, the waiter gave us each dish had the total calories mentioned right next to it. Okay, so again, let me repeat this sentence. When we took a look at the menu, the waiter gave us each dish had the total calories mentioned right next to it. Okay, so I'm continuing to explain or describe what's really going on here in this example. Now here, I kind of went into the result of this. So this made us both think carefully about which ones we wanted to try out so that we wouldn't run into any health-related issues. Now here, on this next page, I kind of mentioned, something about the opposite side. What would happen if this scenario didn't happen? However, if the restaurant didn't provide us with that kind of information, right? The information about the nutrition, right, calories, perhaps my wife and I would have ordered some pasta that contained ingredients. So topic vocabulary, so ingredients, pasta. So when you have words related to food, that's great for your score, or allergies, right? So we're allergic to, like garlic. There we go. Very specific example of what could have happened. So that's my view. Okay guys, so that's the end of this one. Please like, share, and subscribe it, and I'll see you in the next one.